Did you know that there are only 3 groups of people capable of completely blocking your life this year? Find out who these people are and how to protect yourself from them. Hello, brothers and sisters. Every beginning of the year is the same. We want to change our lives, plan new things, and reap blessings. But do all the people around us contribute to our success? According to the Bible, we should be careful with those around us. Let's explore this subject together and understand how to select our companions better. In the first type, the wicked, we are dealing with people who not only do not follow God, but also act contrary to established moral and ethical principles. These people have no limits in their actions, do evil without remorse, and completely disregard holiness and divine values. By associating with such individuals, we run the risk of absorbing their distorted views and straying from the path of righteousness. A striking biblical example is the story of Lot in Genesis chapter 19, where he became involved with an immoral people and paid a high price for being surrounded by those who disrespected God. Therefore, it is essential to identify and distance ourselves from these negative influences in order to preserve our inner peace, our values, and our communion with the Lord. The second type of person to avoid, the sinner, is someone who, unlike the wicked, has knowledge of right and wrong, but deliberately chooses to ignore the principles established by faith. These are people who recognize their sins, but choose not to seek correction for their behavior. These people are fully aware of God's directives, but choose to disobey them on purpose. In James 4:17, we are warned that anyone who knows the good they ought to do and fails to do it is sinning. Unlike the wicked, sinners are fully aware of their faults and choose to persist in them. This type of company can be particularly dangerous, as their subtle influence can gradually undermine our own moral and spiritual integrity. By associating with such individuals, we run the risk of adopting similar attitudes to theirs and compromising our relationship with God. Therefore, it is crucial to discern these influences in our lives and take steps to protect ourselves spiritually. The third type of person to avoid, the mocker, is one who not only mocks and ridicules the faith of others, but also belittles everything sacred. These people act sarcastically and disdainfully towards spiritual values and belief in God. When we associate with individuals of this nature, we run the risk of not only having our trust in God's promises shaken, but also allowing negativity and mockery to contaminate our environment and mindset. The biblical story of Sennacherib in 2 Kings chapter 19 is a striking example of this mocking behavior, in which disrespect for God's power resulted in severe consequences for those who belittled the Lord's holiness. Likewise, the mockery directed at Jesus on the cross highlights how mockery can lead to spiritual disgrace. Therefore, it is essential to distance ourselves from these toxic influences that seek to undermine our faith and trust in God, thus preserving our spiritual and emotional integrity. When we allow ungodly people into our lives, we are at risk of having our opportunities stolen, our plans diverted, and even being separated from God's promises. The negative influence of these individuals can lead us to act in ways that are contrary to God's principles, undermining our faith and compromising our communion with the Lord. It is essential to recognize the signs of harmful company and take steps to protect ourselves spiritually, thus preventing these influences from hindering our growth and well-being. Pay attention to the Bible's warnings about associating with the ungodly and be willing to make choices that strengthen your relationship with God. In the Bible, we find numerous examples that illustrate the dangers of keeping inappropriate company in our lives. One such account is the story of Amnon and Tamar in 2 Samuel 13. Amnon, driven by impure desires and influenced by evil counsel, commits a terrible act against his sister Tamar. This tragic episode reveals how bad company and corrupt counsel can lead to devastating consequences and destroy not only the lives of those involved, but also the fabric of the family and social harmony. Furthermore, throughout the scriptures we see numerous warnings about the consequences of associating with ungodly, sinful, and scornful people. These accounts remind us of the importance of choosing our friendships wisely and distancing ourselves from those who seek to lead us astray from the path of righteousness. By building healthy and uplifting relationships, we are investing in our spiritual and emotional journey. Companies that encourage, support, and challenge us to grow are essential to our personal development. The Bible teaches us to walk with the wise in order to become wise ourselves and to seek fellowship with those who share our faith and values. By establishing connections with people who push us in the right direction, we strengthen our faith, our determination, and our ability to overcome challenges. Therefore, choose wisely who you will share your journey with, and remember that good company is like a balm for the soul, bringing light, peace, and encouragement in the midst of adversity. When identifying and removing negative influences from our daily lives, it is essential to establish healthy boundaries and prioritize relationships that promote our spiritual and emotional growth. This may involve having honest conversations with toxic people, clearly defining what behaviors are unacceptable, and maintaining a firm stance in protecting our inner peace. In addition, it is essential to cultivate friendships based on mutual trust, mutual edification, and respect for Christian values. By surrounding ourselves with individuals who share our faith and encourage us to follow the path of righteousness, we strengthen our spiritual journey and become more resilient in the face of life's adversities. The impact of toxic relationships on our mental and spiritual health can be profound and far-reaching. Negative, manipulative, or faith-mocking people can undermine our self-esteem, create constant anxiety and stress, and even lead to depression. Living with these harmful influences can directly affect our immunity, making us more vulnerable to physical and emotional illnesses. Additionally, the psychological toll of dealing with people who constantly undermine our confidence and discourage us can result in a cycle of negative thinking and damaging self-criticism. Therefore, it is crucial to recognize the signs of toxic relationships in our lives, establish healthy boundaries, and seek support to preserve our mental and spiritual health. When reflecting on the importance of surrounding ourselves with people who contribute positively to our journey, it is essential to evaluate not only external influences, but also our role in this process. We must consider how our attitudes, thoughts, and choices impact not only ourselves, but also those around us. Constantly seeking personal and spiritual growth and cultivating relationships based on empathy, respect, and love for others are essential steps to strengthen our community and build each other up. In addition, we must be open to continuous learning, humble enough to recognize our limitations, and seek divine guidance at all times. By committing ourselves to the pursuit of moral and spiritual excellence, we contribute not only to our well-being, but also to building a healthier and more welcoming environment for everyone around us. As you reflect on the revelations shared, it is essential to evaluate which relationships in your life may be negatively impacting your spiritual and emotional growth. Consider which individuals may be undermining your faith, derailing your plans, and affecting your communion with God. Based on this reflection, make the courageous decision to establish healthy boundaries, distance yourself from toxic influences, and prioritize relationships that promote your well-being and strengthen your faith. Remember that the choice of people you surround yourself with is crucial to your spiritual journey. May this awareness guide you in building an uplifting and blessed circle of friends. Subscribe to the channel for more uplifting content. Share this message with those who need it. May God bless your journey. Stay in the peace of the Lord.